going to focus on the metric system, and today we'll be learning the basic units of measurement in the metric system and how to convert from one type of measurement to another. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so as you saw in class today, different measurements use different units, and a unit is something we use whenever we measure something, or whenever we measure anything really. It's an amount used to measure something. Right? And when we measure things in science, we use what we call standardized units, right? And that way, a standardized unit is something that is the same no matter who's measuring it. Right? You saw today when you used different pencils, they didn't work as well. Some pencils were shorter, some pencils were longer. So we want to use a standardized unit to measure different things. Now in the US, we use a system of measurement called the English system. Right? So for volume, we use things like gallons or ounces or quarts. Mass or weight, we use pounds. Technically, mass in the English system is something called a slug. Who knew? Length, we use feet, miles, yards, inches. Temperature, degrees Fahrenheit, time, hours, minutes, seconds. Right? For most of these, except for time, our units are different than what we'll use in science class and different from what the rest of the world uses. Everyone else uses what's called the metric system, right? Or it's sometimes abbreviated SI from the French Système International. I don't know how to pronounce it. This is a set, basically it's a set of standardized units used by scientists all over the world, along with pretty much every other country in the world. I think it's us and Liberia in Africa and maybe Myanmar, I believe, are the only countries that use the English system. Everyone else, if you've ever traveled anywhere, you know things are in kilometers, they're in degrees Celsius. And so this year, you guys will learn how to use these really, really well. It's basically like learning a foreign language, right? And you'll see why scientists use these, because they're way easier than the systems that you grew up using. Alright, so metric units, just to quickly get them down. Alright, in length, our unit is the meter, and it's abbreviated with just an M, lowercase m. Mass is measured by the gram. Meter doesn't have an E at the end, which is abbreviated with a lowercase g. Volume is the liter, which is abbreviated with a capital L. That's actually important. A lowercase l looks a lot like a 1, so we use a capital L to tell it apart. And temperature, we measure with degrees Celsius, right? Or degrees C, right? The little degree sign, option K, will get you that if you're typing it on your computer. So temperature is degrees Celsius. And this is the metric system. Those are the units that we'll use. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, Mr. McGowan, I know that when you measure distance, you use kilometers if it's a long thing, and mass, you use kilograms, which is totally true. These standard units aren't very useful for certain measurements, right? A meter is about 3 feet long. If I wanted to measure the length of a pen, doing that in meters would be silly, right? It's way less than a meter. So just like in the English system where we have smaller units we can use, we have smaller units we can use for the metric system as well. The difference is it's just a fraction of our original unit. It's not a whole new thing. And the fractions that we use are the same for each thing. So rather than having to learn how many inches are in a foot, how many ounces are in a pound, how many ounces are in a gallon, which are all different numbers, in the metric system it's all the same. You only have to learn it once, and then you've got it for everything. Next slide. So in the metric system, we use prefixes to change the size of a unit. I did not want that to go that far. There we go. Prefixes. All right. These prefixes are going to change the size of our unit. All right. So you need to add your own notes here. All right. Thought I was going to do the whole thing for you. Ha! All right. So prefixes, to change the size of the unit, you add a prefix, which makes the unit bigger or smaller. And the nice thing about metric units is they're all based on powers of 10. which means the math is stupid easy. It's so easy. There's not actually any math involved. You're just moving decimal places. So here are the prefixes and their meanings. You don't need to write them all down in your notes right now. Don't make a big list. Don't do it. All right. Kilo means 1,000, so a kilometer or a kilogram is 1,000 meters or 1,000 grams. Note the same prefix is used for both. Centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. A centigram is 100th of a gram. Millimeter, 1/1000th. Milligram, 1,000th of a gram. Milliliter, 1,000th of a liter. Same prefix, same value, no matter what. So, to convert, we use this ladder. And so this is going to be what you want to get into your notes. This ladder right here. Alright, so you're going to want to pause the movie at some point and kind of copy this in to your notes for the prefix. Under still our prefix's main idea. Alright, so to use this ladder, we've got kilo at the end, hecto is 100, deca is 10, our base unit, which would be our grams, our liters, or our meters, deci, centi, milli. Each step to the right is 10 times smaller. Each step to the left makes the unit 10 times bigger. So let me show you how we can convert from one unit to another using this ladder. So conversions. All right, so you should have some notes for the prefixes section. All right. Let's say I measure something that's 18,456 milliliters. All right, that's my measurement. Now that is a big number and it's not very convenient. So what I want to do is I'm going to change this measurement to liters. It's going to be the exact same volume, same amount of stuff. I'm just going to write it in a new unit. It's the same way as if you wrote 12 inches. Instead of writing 12 inches, you wrote 1 foot. So first thing I want to do is I want to figure out where on my ladder I'm starting. Alright, so I look here, my prefix is an M for milli, which means I'm starting at milli. And where am I ending? Well, I just have liter, which is a base unit. So I'm going from milli to base. So now I want to count how many steps it takes me. 1, 2, 3 steps moving to the left. Alright, which means I'm going to move my decimal point 1, 2, 3 steps to the left. Now, there's no decimal in this number, which means we have to fill it in at the end. 1, 2, follow the mouse, 3 steps to the left, and we would draw a new decimal there. So in our notes, we've got 18,456 milliliters. Oh, geez, come on, computer. Anyway, if my notes ever catch up, you guys can figure out what should go here. So 18,406 milliliters is going to become 18.456 liters. All right, that's what should be in your notes over here. All right, so 18,456 milliliters becomes 18.456 liters. All I've done is move the decimal 3 over to the left, because to go from milli to base, 1, 2, 3 to the left. In the same way from kilo to deca, DA, alright, I'm going to go 1, 2 to the right. My decimal's already in the number. 1, 2 to the right, which makes my answer 4.5 decagrams. Alright, last one, decimeters to meters, deci to meter, right? Even though it's M, it's not milli because it's M by itself, which is a base unit. Deci to meter, 1 to the left, decimal goes after the 7, 1 to the left, 45.7. If you're still a little confused on this, we are going to do a lot of practice on this tomorrow in class. Finally, the last thing is the way to remember this is, and some of you I'm sure have heard this before, to remember the order: King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. All right, and so our memory device, is, right, King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Right, by drinking chocolate milk. Kilo, hecto, deca, base unit, deci, centi, milli. All right. Make sure you write a summary at the bottom. All right, we're going to do a lot more practice with this tomorrow. So go back, watch through those examples a couple more times if you need to, and I'll see you guys in class tomorrow.